Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm getting everything set up here, man. I says get my little stand and everything where I need it. I can see y'all now and I can hear y'all.
That's
You
awesome.
you fancy? You getting your TikTok stand set up there?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna go to OnlyFans bikini TikTok dance.
Oh,
You know, TikTok. If you gonna win TikTok, you got to show something. I just ain't quite there yet.
you seem to be doing all right with it.
Yeah.
I think for the more seasoned veterans in the the elite crowd, you seem to have mastered the new and upcoming social media platforms.
Man, it just gets more and more. And now I'm getting all these emails from Bass going, "Hey, everybody join Threads," and I'm like, "What's Threads?" They're like, "It's Twitter for Instagram." I'm like, "Well, I've already got Twitter. Why do I want Twitter for Instagram?"
It's
great
like
value
Twitter
Twitter.
where they censor what you say. It's
Well, and I'm like, if y'all want to really do something, you tell Mark Zuckerchicken to let me talk to my followers and quit just slicing it down. Like, it's crazy. The bigger you're following, the less it goes out to. It drives me freaking crazy.
I don't understand. We've had several, of the really successful YouTubers and stuff on here to talk about the algorithms and how things change and, how different interactions and impressions lead to a bigger audience. I can't keep up with it's great that people figure that stuff out. I can't keep up with it.
Well, there's
I
too
got
much
more
going
shit to do.
on. And then you got the Facebook algorithm for monetization is 100% different than the YouTube. And they did some adjustments about 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm buddies with some guys who, like a guy named Zach Russian, he's got 7 million followers, and his videos normally get 100,000 likes, not views, 100,000 likes. And he said, dude, it even messed him up for a while, like trying to find like what happened. They rebooted the system. I'm like, about time, and like drives you crazy. And then you got our government up there investigating the guy from China over the TikTok deal about their they're spying on us. I'm like, hey, Mark Zuckerberg knows everything I say because whatever I say on Facebook, it shows up on my feed the next morning. I'm much more concerned about Zucker Chicken than I am Mr. Wu Fang Hog that owns TikTok.
I'll
Because
tell
my
you this.
TikTok account has never been it has never been stolen or hacked. There's 15 different Gerald Swindle Facebook pages made a week. And I'm like,
I
so
know, and some of the pictures I've gotten from those are concerning at best.
yes. And I'm like, if they're worried about our government's worried about China spying on me, I'm like, I'm not worried about China. You can lay your iPhone down on and have Facebook on and just talk about something, and the next morning you got an ad up for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
Guaranteed.
weird.
Yeah, I know one thing. We're like one Ryan Lambert post away from this whole podcast getting shut down. So, Zuckerberg's on it. He's on us.
It's coming, boys. Saddle up. I'll
I,
burn this place to the ground in a minute.
hey, I hope old boy that bought Twitter makes him earn his rights, man. Because I'm like, it sucks because you work so hard to build these platforms, and then all of a sudden they just change something, and then they're like, well, you can pay to talk to your fans. I'm like, well, we built this page because they're my fans, and now you want me to pay? I'm like, I'd have just got their cell phone number and text them if I wanted to do that.
Talk about how important that part is in your career overall. Obviously, you're fishing tournaments. There's a competitive side to things, but you guys that are out here doing this for your livelihood, it's marketing. It's a marketing machine. That's where it's at.
Facebook, Instagram, and I'm that guy that says like you see these people that go off, and I don't want to like get just chase rabbits, but like you hear people talk about, oh, it's all about your YouTube subscribers. I don't really give a dang about your YouTube subscriber. If you got 40,000 YouTube subscribers and you got 350,000 Facebook fans with an average video view of 100,000, you got to be some kind of YouTuber to reach that. So like, but these people get sidetracked on the YouTube, like it's only YouTube. No, it's not YouTube. Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and Twitter are the most valuable tools an angler can have because he can stay relevant week to week. He can build a fan base and let people know who he is, whether they want to like him or dislike him, what he stands for, what he's all about. If that's what you choose to do on your social, and it's really helpful. Where I think when I watch a lot of YouTube stuff, I think YouTube is for learning. But when I watch a lot of YouTube stuff, I'm like, dude, this is as fake as the Kardashians. You see a guy put a whole different hat on, throw a cowboy hat on. Hey, guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm like, hell, am I watching Jeopardy or a fishing show? Because just a minute ago, you was wearing flip-flops talking like me, and now you went into character. And I'm like, I'm not that guy that goes all crazy on it. But if you're a young, upcoming angler, whether you're a kayaker or you want to fish the Bass Nation, or wherever you want to fish, your social media is your best friend but you got to work at it. I hear guys say, man, I'm hustling my butt off on social media and I haven't grown that much. I'm like, how long have you been doing it? It's like a year. I'm like, I've been doing it 24. Like, it doesn't happen. You don't build those giant followings overnight unless you can use extreme profanity or you can do whatever. But if you have sponsors and you got it's a constant battle to grow it. But I would tell all young anglers, build your social media right now. Start your platform. Let sponsors see who you are, because it's the most relevant thing you have. Even when there's not a tournament, you can still be relevant.
Mm-hmm. We had Christine Fisher and Wesley Gray on last week talking about something similar. And one of the key points we talked about was be authentic. And like you just said, don't jump on there with a cowboy hat if that ain't you.
You see so many people do it. They go in full-blown character, and I'm like, okay, so what do I do if I meet these people in person? They're like, hey, where's that, teeth whitening smile you had at? Because, well, I'm having a bad day. I don't want a teeth whitening smile. So I don't think it hurts to be yourself on social media, because I'm going to tell you, I think people all over the country have a bad day too. So it's okay to have a bad day. You control it, but you let people know you have ups and downs too. There's tournaments I don't catch jack. I got nobody to blame. I can't blame the weather. No, I just didn't get my job done. But I think people relate to that because they have days when they go fishing and they don't catch it.
A lot more days like that than the others.
Yeah, I'm a true believer in that whole, they say fake it till you make it. I'm like, no, don't fake it, because I'm telling you, this day and time, you will be exposed.
Yeah, I heard it was a podcast Milliken was on, who's over there tearing it up on the opens. He's a YouTuber that's actually crossing over and doing well. But they asked him how he's pulling that off, and he basically brought up what you said, which is, if you can't fish, you get exposed real quick when you end up in a tournament. If you're just a caricature and you cross over, you get exposed pretty quick.
Real quick, and he's been the first guy that crossed over to be successful. And you will hear some of those guys, other big YouTubers, say, well, I'm not interested in tournament fishing. Well, you're not interested in the whooping that comes along with it.
Yeah, that's the trick. When you cross over and you're doing it for more than just a camera, those fish change.
Right. Well,
they know when there's money on the line.
Yeah. If I had 5 days to go film a giant glide bait video on Gunners, I might make myself look like Carl Jacobson when it's said and done. But in reality, it took me 5 days. But on tournament morning, bass only gives me 9 hours. You either get it or you don't. So it's a really different swap over. And I just think it gets washed up in the industry where people put their YouTube channel with their social channels and like they're all the same. And I think they're totally different. I think YouTube's for teaching, and it's a great way to get some views. You work at it, but I think your social channel you can be a lot more who you really are. Like, you can't comedy don't sell on YouTube. People want to see people doing different things. So I think you got to kind of learn it. But I tell all y'all young anglers, work at it, man. If you're not willing to do social, you're not going to make it in this world.
I think the target audience is a lot different too. What you're seeing on your social media, people are more following your life. They're seeing everything you're doing in the off season, the good days, the bad days, the work, maybe rigging up your boat, whatever it may be. On YouTube, I feel like it's kind of marketed toward a younger audience. Like, you see, like Guggen Squad's a great example. They took that kind of viral, bank fishing, whatever, and they blew it up into a brand. And they did great with that, the marketing and the branding. Those are guys that I don't anticipate them coming out and trying to run through the tournament scene. Like, I don't think that was the intent of their target audience, that reach.
Right. I apologize. We had that glitch in my system because my wife said I didn't update my phone. But the first part of that I missed. I would ask you, if you don't mind, fill me back in, because it was like I was running 80 in my Phoenix going, I'm not really sure.
I was saying the Guggen Squad, stuff like that, like the target audience that they're going for to YouTube, it's kind of a viral, 13 to 14-year-olds just eating this stuff up out there, making pond hopping videos and whatnot, versus following a tournament angler through kind of the ups and downs, the struggle, the life on the road, that kind of thing. I think it's two different kind of genres
two
there.
Different things. And I think they really made a lot of movement in the industry when they were young, but they were using crazy cuss words. They were jumping over fences and sneaking in and cussing out security guards and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old kids think that's kind of cool, but in a different light, if you're trying to make it in the fit, like on a professional side, or you want to make it in the kayaking business, you want to go fish tournaments, that ain't gonna look good. So like,
or you're over 35 and you tear your Achilles jumping over a fence trying to sneak into their pond.
I mean, you could, like, the security guard hits you with the clutch on the backside, and down you go.
It's more real then.
I think that they were so appealing to that young audience at the time because a lot of their stuff was going super viral, and it's like catapulted a lot of their stuff. And now you're seeing it, for what I'm seeing it kind of trend back down now.
I saw one of the most ironic videos over on YouTube, which is one of those guys you're talking about, Ryan, posted a video of him running a guy off his property. Now that he's made big money, he's made this big money and he's got land with a pond, and he's running this kid off his property that was fishing on his property, and he's giving him hell and telling him to get off his land. And I'm like, wow, how the
turntables have turned.
Yes, that's how you built your channel. What's going on here?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think it's I don't know, dude. I see anglers, and it's weird because there's certain anglers even in the bass on our side in the bass world, they don't even want to embrace social media. They don't want any part of it. They're like, I don't want to do it. I don't care. I'm gonna make a living with my rod and reel, man. That's hard to do on a consistent 10 or 15 year deal. You might have 1 or 2 years where you're on fire, but it's just hard to do to make a total living on what you catch on the end of your rod.
Yep. And when you look at things like career earnings and stuff, a lot of that is fairly public information. You're getting hit by the tax man too on this stuff, right?
Oh.
Like people you look at something, if somebody's got a 25 or 30 year career and their career earnings is $2 million, you're like, oh man, $2 million, that's their lifetime. That's their lifetime earnings. Like that, you made a livable wage, yes, but like you look at $2 million and like, oh, they're a millionaire. No, divide that by 20, pal. Like, come on.
And a lot of young anglers look at that and think, well, is this all fishing has to offer? And I'm like, if you just really knew, it may have an angler out there that says career earnings $2.5 million, but his career earnings through marketing and sponsorships may be $10.5 million.
Exactly.
That's never gone public, nor will anybody ever say it. But people look at that winnings, and I'm like, well, winnings, they're going to get 35 to 38% of that right off the top. I mean, I'm the guy buying all them houses people living in. I mean, I know what it's like to write that check over and over. So I tell people, your winnings is just a bonus. It's just strictly a bonus. Like I tell my wife years ago, I was like, let's just put our winnings up and pay for the grandbaby's, college. You don't depend on them. You cannot depend on them.
Yeah. And there was a big shift. I don't know how many years ago. I think it was maybe during COVID or right before, where a lot of the fellas that had been sponsored for years by big companies like Bass Pro, different things like that, there was a big shakeup and they dropped them because of their poor social followings, even though they were elite anglers. They weren't interested in the social media following, right?
And it's weird because now more and more companies are getting into it. Because I can remember like 3 or 4 years ago when I started my TikTok and messed around with it. I had it for a year and I never posted. I made one post and it had like 200 views, and my wife thought it was funny. She's like, "You suck at TikTok," but she said, "You've had it for a year and you've never posted but one time." The third post I made had 1.5 million views. I said, I watched it for a year to learn how to operate it. But when I would go ask my sponsors several years ago, I was like, what about TikTok? Oh, we don't care about TikTok. It's because they didn't know anything about it. Now all of a sudden you get these, hey, can we get a TikTok? Oh, that's right. I thought you didn't care about it.
And now you see it blowing up. Now more companies are not only brands that are in bait manufacturing or reels or whatever, but Bassmaster in itself is now a proud member of the TikTok
I'm seeing
platform.
Toyota. I can remember when I first started about TikTok, I asked Toyota when I had a meeting with corporate. I said, "Now we're really right into TikTok right now." And then 2 years later, they're launching their new truck using TikTok, and it got a bigger. And I'm like, see, it's a different audience and it's a different game, but it has a big value. And it's just like, you want to argue with them because they're like, if you have a video that has 10 million views on TikTok, they're like, well, we don't know how to put a value on that. Well, I do. I mean, I don't know how you can say there's a lot of difference between a Facebook video, a YouTube video, or a TikTok video that has 10 million views. If you're wearing a sponsored shirt or a sponsor's products in there, how can you not see a value of 10 million views?
100%. Views is views. Eyeballs is eyeballs, right?
And I know
What?
they don't value impressions anymore because we're seeing this whole switch in social now where there's a younger generation just taking over these companies and they're like, well, we want to be the hero shot of every post. That must have been the last thing they taught in college is we want to be the hero shot. Well, the hero shot means you're going to get 10,000 views instead of 2 million because that's what you want. Instead of saying, let me use your product in a video that reached 2 million and we'll tag it at the end. They're like, no, we want to be the hero. We want to be all of it. Okay. And we're seeing that a lot where they're like, we want you to do exactly this and say this. And like, it doesn't go anywhere. It's a really hard sell.
I would have to say between you and Iaconelli, y'all probably have the two best built brands as far as self-branding goes in the professional industry. At what point did you even focus on that, or were you always just kind of cutting up, quick-witted, and it just rolled out like that? Or was there a time when you were like, okay,